A warm greeting. Today is Thursday, November 14, 2024. This is meteorologist Ruben Garcia. At the time of recording this video, it is 7 a.m. in Honduras, where the extreme rainfall event has already begun and will be affecting the region throughout the weekend. A catastrophic rainfall and flooding event is forecast across much of central and northern Honduras. Additionally, over the next 5 days, heavy rain is expected across western Panama, Costa Rica, western Nicaragua, southern Honduras, eastern El Salvador, much of Belize, eastern Guatemala, and parts of the southern and southeastern Yucatán Peninsula. So these will definitely be challenging days for much of Central America and the Yucatán Peninsula due to both the direct and indirect effects of what is now Tropical Depression number 19, which today will strengthen into Tropical Storm Sara. The center of circulation is located just northeast of Honduras and will continue to move slowly over the weekend, very close to or over the east-central coast of Honduras, where it will remain almost stationary all weekend, causing this extreme rain event. This interaction with land will keep the system relatively weak, so this tropical cyclone will not be able to take advantage of the favorable strengthening conditions in the western Caribbean Sea. This represents a significant change from previous projections, which showed the possibility of a major hurricane development. This is at least good news for the Yucatán Peninsula and the state of Florida, as it is now expected that the future Tropical Storm Sara will pass through the region as a weakened system. However, it represents the worst-case scenario for parts of Central America, particularly Honduras, as they are expected to receive over 600 to 800 millimeters of accumulated rainfall over the next 4 days, starting today. It is essential that residents of central and northern Honduras be in a safe place and away from flood-prone areas. In the infrared satellite image, we can see that the system has become more organized this morning. In particular, we see the development of a band toward the north and northwest of the circulation, which will be responsible for heavy showers today, continuing until at least Monday. Let's look at the latest trajectory projections from specialized models. They generally agree on a slow westward movement over the next 24 hours, then remaining stationary near or over the north coast of Honduras throughout the weekend. By Sunday night or Monday, it will begin to move west-northwest, eventually entering Belize and the southern Yucatán Peninsula. Moving so close to or over northern Honduras will prevent significant strengthening, and the models agree that it will be a moderate to strong tropical storm as it moves parallel to the coast of Honduras, expected to reach Belize as a weak or moderate tropical storm. Here is the latest official forecast from the National Hurricane Center, showing a westward movement over the next 24 to 36 hours, followed by a very slow or stationary movement over the weekend, just north of Honduras. By Sunday afternoon or evening, it will begin to turn towards Belize, arriving in the early hours of Monday, and between Monday and Tuesday, crossing the Yucatán Peninsula. In blue, you can see the tropical storm warning, which remains in effect for the northern part of Honduras as tropical storm conditions are expected throughout the weekend. Now, let's look at the latest projections from the best global models, starting with the American model. You can see Tropical Storm Sara developing today and maintaining an erratic, slow trajectory through northern Honduras from Friday through Sunday. In this case, the latest run of the American model projects that the center of circulation could move over land in Honduras, resulting in a very weak system before reaching Belize and the Yucatán Peninsula. In fact, the American model now projects that Tropical Storm Sara could dissipate on Monday over the Yucatán Peninsula. In the long term, between Tuesday and Wednesday, it may affect the state of Florida, but as a weakened system, likely as a low-pressure area rather than a tropical cyclone, which is definitely good news for Florida. We also have the projection of the European model, which shows Tropical Storm Sara developing today and moving parallel and very close to or over the coast of Honduras, keeping the system weak until it reaches Belize as a weak or moderate tropical storm early Monday, eventually moving over the Yucatán Peninsula where it may dissipate over Mexican territory by Wednesday or Thursday. The European model projects that it will remain weak, with the remnants of Tropical Storm Sara affecting central and northern Florida without significant impacts. In general, the ensemble members of the American and European models agree on this forecast. The American model ensemble mostly keeps this system as a weak tropical storm as it moves parallel to the coast of Honduras and reaches Belize. While this is good news in terms of wind intensity, as it's not expected to cause major disruptions, it is still the worst-case scenario for Honduras, as it will trigger an extreme rainfall and flooding event. The ensemble members of the European model also generally agree with this idea, but it's important to note that some members show perhaps a tropical depression approaching Florida by mid-next week. Although we're not forecasting it to reach Florida as a tropical cyclone, we will continue monitoring in case there are any changes to this forecast. Now, let's discuss the rainfall accumulations expected for Belize, the Yucatán Peninsula, and especially the northern half of Honduras. Here we can see the projected rainfall accumulation over the next 5 days according to the American model, which shows that all of Belize, northern Honduras, and parts of eastern Guatemala are anticipated to receive between 500 to 600 millimeters of accumulated rainfall, potentially creating a disaster across the region. In addition, areas in Quintana Roo, western Guatemala, and eastern El Salvador may also see over 150 millimeters of rainfall over the next 5 to 6 days. And for the Cayman Islands, significant rainfall of between 150 to 175 millimeters is expected over the weekend and early next week. This intense rainfall forecast is widely agreed upon. For instance, the European model is even more aggressive in the rainfall accumulation over Honduras, Nicaragua, and El Salvador. For northern Honduras, it projects over 800 millimeters of accumulated rainfall over the next 5 days. And for areas of western Nicaragua, southern Honduras, and eastern El Salvador, between 200 to 300 millimeters of rainfall over the weekend and early next week. This is why it's crucial for residents in Quintana Roo, Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua to prepare for a significant flooding and landslide event over the weekend and early next week. If we move slightly south, you can see the rainfall accumulations expected for western Panama and much of Costa Rica, with projections of 200 to 300 millimeters of accumulated rainfall over the weekend and early next week. So, we hope our followers in Central America and southern Mexico are prepared to face this tropical cyclone. I'll continue with this special coverage, recording at least 2 videos daily. The next video will be recorded this afternoon to update the forecast. To avoid missing this content, please ensure you're subscribed to my channel. If not, subscribe and don't forget to click the bell to receive notifications when I upload new videos. Well, with that, I say goodbye for now. I'll see you in the next video.